name is Betty Toussaint, and I am the CEO and founder of Toussaint Law. Toussaint Law actually started back in 2005 as a result of just life happening. However, it's evolved into something that I am very proud to share with this community today. Today, Toussaint Law is in the community because it's a place not only where you get to seek justice, but you're also looking for wholeness. At Toussaint Law, we are about making sure that we provide our community with information that will help not only in their legal situation, but with their relationships, with life, and just growing and becoming a better person. And so the reason that I am here today is to welcome you to our channel, to encourage you to participate, come, learn, and experience a new way of thinking, a new way of doing, and a new way of living. I hope you enjoy everything that you're about to experience. Thank you. So, I did not watch the Oscars. Unfortunately, I have been disconnected from a lot of what's going on the news. However, I got a phone call from my husband early in the morning, and he said, "Did you hear what happened?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And I was in the middle of trying to get ready for a hearing that I had that started at 9 o'clock. And of course, he mentioned that, Will Smith, you hit Chris Rock, and it just didn't make any sense when I heard him say it. So I stopped what I was doing for a brief moment, and I quickly got on the computer, and as the whole world, as you know, was stunned, I was stunned. And I just, kept my mouth open, and I was like, wow. So, however, I've been seeing a lot of comments, a lot of jokes that have followed that incident, but I'm not going to necessarily comment about what I've been seeing on social media. I'll just say this, right? I remember when I was in high school, and it was not one of my proudest moments, but I remember that there was a classmate of mine, and she might be one of my Facebook friends today, but I remember that I was responsible for selling chocolate. And I remember that the chocolate had melted, and when it had melted, it had deformed a little bit, and then I put it in the freezer and tried to get it to formulate back the way that it was. But long story short, one of my classmates, she had purchased a candy bar, and she was complaining about what the candy bar looked like. And then later on, I had sold a candy bar to someone else, and that classmate had the same concern. The candy bar looks funny, and she wanted her money back. And I said, well, you're gonna have to take that up with, our sponsor, who we were selling the candy bars for this club that I was a part of. And all I know, I don't know what happened, but I am in my English class, and this is my senior year in high school, and I found myself just cussing up a storm in the middle of English class. And I remember my professor, my teacher at the time, she was telling us to stop, be quiet, and here I was in the back of the classroom. Every four-letter word that I can think of was coming out of my mouth, and I just completely ignored my teacher. I completely ignored who was around me. I was completely out of character. So yes, this woman was completely out of character, belligerent, and my teacher quickly asked me to leave her classroom. And I remember that quarter on my report card, it was an A3F, so F for conduct. But I had never done that before, and it obviously wasn't one of my proudest moments. But I say that to say that we all have those moments that we're not proud of, and not unfortunately, there are consequences that come for the behaviors that we have. And so we each have those moments where we may come out of character. It's life, and we're all human. And so as I transition into today's topic about, and Tasia, if you can tell me that topic, please.
Bag lady.
Bag lady, okay? The topic bag lady. I transition into that topic because oftentimes when you're under a lot of stress or things that are going on that nobody really knows about, you find yourself under a lot of stress, and unfortunately, you end up acting out of character, or you may become angry or very agitated, and you may take that out on your children, your baby daddy, your baby mama, or whoever may be around you because of carrying too much on your plate. And so I wanted to definitely give you my little 2 cents on what happened this week as it relates to the Oscars, but I also wanted to just talk about, what do you do when you have lots on your plate and you're a parent and you are experiencing the life of single parenthood, okay? Or you're co-parenting with someone that is not in the home. One of the most important things as a parent that is co-parenting with another parent that is not living in the home is to communicate, okay? And when I say communicate, communicate about all of the various responsibilities that you have for your child and solutions that you can present to the other parent about how to be a part of making life easier so that you don't have to carry all of these bags. I grew up, well, I was a single parent for many years, close to about 16 years, and I remember just having a lot on my plate. There were different appointments that I needed to go to, things that I needed to juggle, and it just became overwhelming at times. And there were friends that stepped in to help out. However, one of the things that I remember experiencing was moments of stress and getting angry and not being the best parent that I wanted to be at that time. And so one of the things, in addition to communicating, is to also just say no to certain activities. Your child doesn't have to be involved in every single sport that the school offers, or doesn't have to participate in every extracurricular activity that there is out there, because as a parent, you have to make sure that you have balance. And so if one parent is into making sure that their child is involved in different activities, then you just have to be sure that you can manage all of those things if the other person doesn't want to be the person running up and down to every single activity. And so communication and respecting the boundaries of the other parent when it comes to what things that they want to take on and what things they don't want to take on. So moms, if you decide that you want your daughter to participate in cheerleading and you know that it's going to stretch you to full capacity, then before you make that commitment, sit down, have a conversation with that child's father, and just find out that whether or not you will get the support when it comes to taking that child to practice on Mondays or Wednesdays or whenever that day is. If the answer is no, don't get upset, but reflect on whether or not this is something that is worth the fight and is worth the energy. If you know that it's not going to work out if the other parent doesn't step in, then my recommendation is pass on that particular activity, or talk about maybe coming up with some funds that you could pay someone to transport your child to that particular activity as well. The other thing that you want to be sure that you do is get the other parent involved, and I mentioned this last week, activities that require preparation, for example, projects. Get the other parent to do some part of the project. You know, you might be the person to do the research, and then the other parent might be the parent to make sure that it gets typed up or the poster board is purchased. There are so many ways that another parent can be involved that is meaningful and will take some of the load off of your plate. And so it just requires time to really sit down and break the pieces of the activities apart and see what could someone do that would help take the weight off of my shoulders. But the key is communication and planning. Planning before you make commitments to do certain activities. If you plan and in the planning process, there is open communication with the other parent, there will be less likely to have a lot of fallout, a lot of disagreements, because everybody is on the same page. And so that's something that I wanted to share with you, because parenting is no joke. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, especially if you are a working parent. You definitely want to be sure that you find different ways to get that other parent involved. And one other thing that I recommend is somebody do pick up, another person do drop off, okay? And that really helps, and it takes one less thing off of your plate. And so, again, if there are any topics that you want us to talk about, please feel free to send us a text or leave a little post or comment, and we'll be sure to go ahead and touch on those things in the upcoming weeks. But I'm just so excited with the Facebook community. I'm excited about just getting an opportunity to present different things to you on a weekly basis. And I just want to make sure that you stay encouraged, and regardless of things not working out with you and the other party when it comes to custody or the relationship, it doesn't mean that you can't have still a healthy relationship with the other parent. And so for all of you all that are out there, and this is for everyone across the board, so I'm going to piggyback to what I was talking about earlier when it comes to emotions. Before we react, we just need to take a deep breath and make sure that we respond, and we don't respond out of emotion, but we respond looking at what the subsequent consequence could likely be. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to spending some time with you again next week. Bye-bye.